Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. In the wake of Republicans passing Donald Trump's tax and spending bill, the fallout is intensifying. Poll numbers for the measure are dropping. Republicans are refusing to talk about their vote. And Democrats, like Jasmine Crockett of Texas, are pounding away, noting that millions of people will lose their health coverage and food assistance so billionaires can get a tax cut.
We have more billionaires in the United States than any other country, but the total number is 83. Last time I checked, we have 435 members in the House, and we have 100 members in the Senate, yet somehow 83 people in this country have more representation than the hundreds of thousands that are about to lose their health care as well as their SNAP benefits. If I just started going through the Republicans that sit on this committee briefly, I would tell you that, Chairwoman, you have 112,000 people that are about to lose SNAP benefits just in your district.
That was a reference to DOGE Subcommittee Chair Republican Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia. Analysts estimate that in Georgia alone, the GOP bill will cause more than 600,000 people to lose their health coverage. Crockett also spoke about the millions of people across the United States who will lose their Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, food benefits.
In the entire state of Texas, we have 1.6 million people that may lose coverage. And somehow we have 83 billionaires. And somehow they have 535 people that are speaking up for them every single day to make sure that when they get married for a second or third or fourth time, that they can go ahead and have another $50 or $60 million wedding. Instead of protecting access to these programs, you're cutting them to help billionaires who pay less in taxes than some of the teachers in our country.
And that's true when you talk about tax rates. Jeff Bezos, for example, who just put on an estimated $100 million wedding in Italy, pays a lower marginal tax rate than nearly every working class American, including teachers, childcare workers, and first responders. Crockett pointed out that the first 6 months of the Trump administration have betrayed countless Donald Trump campaign promises to help the working class, tame inflation, and cut government waste, fraud, and abuse. Instead, Crockett noted that government has been made more incompetent, not better, thanks to the aggressive DOGE cuts and policies fueled by revenge.
We look at the fact that there was a promise made and broken that DOGE was supposed to be the magic trick. Now, Elon is being threatened with deportation and the cancellation of his own contracts, which historically have been estimated at a whopping $38 billion after he decided that he was going to spill the tea about the Epstein files. And frankly, the truth is that we know that we could cut a lot of those contracts to Elon, but somehow that hasn't been done. Instead, we, the American people, have been left with a hefty tab of incompetence by DOGE and feeling extremely vulnerable. In fact, there was a DOGE employee who was fired, and I appreciate this man, but truly, transparency and truth has no place in this particular government. This former employee of DOGE says that during his short time embedded with the Department of Veteran Affairs, he did not find levels of waste, fraud, and abuse that he had expected, and it was pretty surprised, actually, at how efficient government was.
That former DOGE staffer who worked at the Department of Veteran Affairs spoke recently on PBS's NewsHour.
In terms of fraud, generally we didn't find any examples of fraud. Fraud meaning, someone who broke the law, who was getting money they shouldn't have been getting. We did have one case where we were asked to look into something. We were asked to look into someone who I think some other agency or something found out was 137 years old. But we looked into it, and in our systems, the health records showed that they were 75. So in our case, specifically at VA, we did not find actually any. We were given one potential that turned out to be a 0. We didn't find any examples of fraud, which is great, right? That's great. That's great news for the American taxpayer.
Great news that was not shared by the Trump administration or acknowledged by Republicans in Congress. Instead, they have continued to insist that government agencies like the VA are filled with fraud, even though DOGE staffers insist that is not the case. The staffers also point out that the DOGE cuts have now made agencies like the VA less efficient, with longer wait times for appointments and fewer employees to help with phone lines. It's the same story at other agencies, including the Social Security Administration, where DOGE closed down more than 50 Social Security field offices. So now, it's even more difficult for Americans to file their paperwork, get help, and receive the benefits they are owed. And who is in charge of these DOGE decisions? Even DOGE staffers say they didn't know.
Who is exactly in charge?
I have no idea. To be honest, even when I was there, it was unclear who was in charge. At the end of the day, I guess Trump is in charge.
Indeed, at the end of the day, all of the reckless cuts that have made government less efficient and more punishing to Americans, all of that is on Donald Trump. His dismissiveness of how government operates and his horrific view that federal services can be run like a business, never mind Trump's repeated business bankruptcies, it has hurt Americans. It has not helped. But that is the consistent story of Donald Trump. Nearly everything Trump has touched through the years has been made worse and failed. An online university, an airline, casinos, and now it's the U.S. government that is reeling and the U.S. economy that is in deep trouble. But as Jasmine Crockett points out, the most powerful supporters of Trump and congressional Republicans, the billionaire class, well, they don't care. They're getting what they want, a tax cut and new opportunities to make even more money from federal government contracts and privatization. As countless Democrats have pointed out, and as a growing number of Americans are realizing, in this system under Trump, most people are going to be worse off, not better. By the way, the MAGA Christianity scam has now been revealed and exposed in Texas.
What would Jesus do about a tax system that benefits the rich over the poor? What would Jesus do about a healthcare system that forces the sick to start GoFundMe pages to afford life-saving surgeries? What would Jesus do about an education system that ties a child's school funding to their community's property wealth? What would Jesus do about a justice system that incarcerates more people than any other country on the face of the earth? And what would Jesus do about an economic system that prioritizes profits over the health of our planet? Would he stay in his room and pray? Or would he walk into the seat of power and flip over the tables of injustice? We Christians are called to do more than charity. We are called to challenge the systems that make charity necessary.
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.